We are recording, and hey, everybody, we want to welcome you to this session of the Contractor Sales Academy. And for those of you that don't know us, don't know me, don't know Steve, my name's Tom Reber. I'm a former painting contractor of many years, and I now work with small business owners and contractors all over the place, helping them make more money, build better brand experiences, market their business. And so I do that through coaching and speaking and all that stuff. And my buddy here, business partner here is Steve Shinholser. Steve, you want to weigh in?
Yep, I am a pond owner like most of you that are out there, and I live and breathe everything you will hear come out of my mouth and Tom's mouth. I do it every day. I eat my own cooking. And when it tastes great, I share it, and that's all I'm doing here. And I can back it up with in a multitude of ways. So my goal is to be kind of an in-your-face, real guy that gets shit done, and I can get it done for you too. But as you'll find out as we go through this, it's just not a silver bullet that we hand you. Everybody on this thing will. In fact, I'd like to have everybody tell me the one word that you guys know, all the CSA members, type it in the box, okay, and make me look good here. What is the one thing that you repeatedly have to do over and over and over to make sure that what Tom and I are preaching up here works for you? You see all that? Practice, practice, practice. You can't come into this group and hope it's just going to through osmosis. It's actually you got to work at it. But if you work at it, all these people that typed in the word practice, they will tell you that they actually accomplish our major goals, which you're about to find out for the CSA. So with that, you could probably hit the next slide.
Here we go. So we wanted to start with, just why we started this group earlier in 2015. And it was really for these three reasons. Over and over and over, as contractors, we realized that we were running around in a hamster wheel, not making the type of money that we wanted to make, and in the process of all that, not having a whole lot of fun in our businesses. And so we wanted to help others, do these three things, and that's, save a time, make a ton more money, and really get what you're worth, and enjoy being in business for all those reasons that you started, however many years ago that you jumped into the business world. Steve?
I have a local contractor. He's a carpet guy. He's in our group, Steve Rados, and we were actually listening to one of his friends play a band the other night, and he just leans over and he tells me for the first time in years, he actually enjoys being in business because, he started like we all start with all the excitement, and then before you know it, you're running around with a chicken with your head cut off, and just life sucks. And so he joined our group, and he's turned it all around. And he actually has done all three of these things that you read on up there. Saving time, he's making a ton more money. He's made more money he's ever made. And he says, Steve, I like it again. And that was like the best compliment you could ever pay Tom or myself.
Yep. And guys, listen, I want to throw something out on the table here. I know a lot of times for those of you that are new to this group and that are visiting and checking it out for the first time here today, I want you to know that there's no big sales pitch at the end of what we're doing here. Okay, so I want to be crystal clear with that. Now, I will also say that if you were invited to this and sent a link, someone believes that you could use what we're doing in this group. And I wholeheartedly believe that this group will help your contracting business no matter where you're at. But I want you to relax and enjoy the call, participate in the chat box, learn everything you can. You're going to walk out of here with some value today. And you're not going to be asked to click a button and buy anything today. So I know a lot of times I'll hop on stuff like this, and I just know that the big ask is coming, and we're not going to ask you today. So with that, Steve, let's talk about this. What's this whole thing mean?
Yeah. So the way this whole process works is we will teach you that when your phone rings, there is a way that you can identify if it's a BS call or not. Is it really a customer, or is it someone wasting your time? Barbie, she'd been with us on both sessions here. She just said it best, and that's why we put her up there. This phone call will enable you to weed out the crap. So you can decide, is it really a customer or not? And if it's not, you get rid of them as fast as you can. And if it is, you will go through our pre-qualification process, um, dubbed by Derek Johnson as Shin Fu. Okay, so when you really go out to the home and talk to the homeowner, you're really there to collect a deposit check. Okay, you're not there to do a tap dance to hope, just to get told I want to think it over at the end and sent away. So we actually hand you what we all believe we have, everybody in the group, that we have this magic phone, and that with this phone we can get our prospects to the next step, which is sending a picture to us, and then the process begins.
Yeah, guys, remember we're not in the proposal writing business. We don't pay our mortgages and have a profit and send our kids to college and retire because we write up proposals. And so our time is incredibly valuable. The client's time is incredibly valuable. So we believe in just a super upfront process to, like Barbie said, weed out the crap.
Right. So here's our process that we go through. This is a card. This is not a sales shtick. This is a process. This is something that I learned from taking 13 weeks and many, many hours, and I've boiled it all down to what works for me. All of these things are important for you to know before you go out to see the customer. And I don't care what order, this order works for me. But we're just going to hit real quick about the reason why I think it's important to know this stuff. So what I want you to think about right now, for the new folks and for all of us CSA people that used to go out before you joined the club here, how did you go out to see a customer? What information were you armed with? What was in your brain when you went out to see them in the old days? And what's in your brain now? Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to, through a discovery of either pain or pleasure, by asking simple questions and keeping your mouth shut, you're going to find out how much money they really are interested in spending. And then when you get out there, they will actually tell you yes or no. I'd like to spend that amount of money. They're not allowed to give you a bullshit answer like, I want to think it over. I have to check with my accountant, my spouse, my whatever, fill in the blank. Okay? No BS. They'll actually tell you yes or no. And you get to say yes or no also. They'll all be there to make that decision, so they can't use that as an excuse either. So you'll actually either walk away with a real deposit check, which happens, in my case, 94%. And that's another thing we do in this group. We actually track what we do, all right? 94% of my field consultations I got myself. So I only got consultation fees twice. I got deposit checks the rest of the time. So worst case scenarios, you will walk away with a consultation fee at the end. So there's a special process, and this is the beginning and the crux and the first step, a very important step to the whole CSA philosophy, all right? And this is what you need to practice. This card, the people that are in our group, they've seen this card 1,000 times. They have one taped on their wall, on their visor in their truck, on their laptops. Wherever they talk to customers, they'll have this card handy. Okay, Tom?
Yep. So guys, another aspect of why people are succeeding with what we're doing here is the power of this group. And so the information, getting pain and the budget and decisions makers, that stuff has been around for a long time. I think that one of the biggest factors that makes the success of this academy is the fact that as a group, we don't let each other off the hook. We expect one another to practice. That image up in the left corner is Logan took a picture of me and he put the 24 TV show thing in it. And in our private Facebook group, whenever you see that pop into the feed, there'll be 2 names tagged in the group. And those people have 24 hours to do a role play with one another, that's specific to their trade. And you could be partnered up with a painter and you're a landscaper or whatever, but you are actually practicing the process that is laid out on that card. You're putting yourself into different scenarios, and then you have access to that private Facebook page where you can weigh in with different situations that you're encountering. How would you handle this? You can share struggles. You can share your victories. I'd love for anybody in the group to also weigh in on just a word or two on what they feel has made them successful in this group.
Yeah, and the power of the group, and it's funny, this group takes a life of their own, and our second session, which we're ending right now, is different than the first session was. We also have a 201 session, and it's truly, Tom and I really are throwing out the softballs. I'll throw out some hard balls, and the group takes it up, and they help each other out. Your successes, your failures, and everybody, and it's so funny, this group readily will admit where they screwed up. Because, there's not really too many bad, customers out there. They're just bad salesmen. And when we don't actually go out and collect a deposit check, we actually break down the reason why. We don't fool ourselves and go, that son of a bitch lied to me. I mean, I'm not saying that can't happen, but 9 out of 10 times, we will go, it is my fault. I forgot step number 4 or step 2, and come to that realization. So the next time you go out, boom, it doesn't happen again. And we've all been there, and we constantly be there. And the whole purpose of all this is to keep coming back every single week so we don't slip back to there, right? Because we'll all go backwards. We'll all go back to our bad habits if we don't keep on each other. And right now we have about 52 people in this group that constantly stay on each other.
So real quick, Travis, just weigh in the chat box. If memory serves correctly, it was you that posted a concern or a fear you were having going out to a consult earlier this season, and because of the group, you ended up selling the job for how much more money than you would have sold it at. If you could just throw that in there. Look in the chat box. Travis can weigh in on that. So yeah, another $10,000 of free money because of the support of the group, and that was just one instance of how this group has helped, and we have dozens of those examples. So with that, Steve, we're going to get in a little role play and have a couple members unmute and just kind of give everyone a taste for what we do, right?
Yeah, right. So
All right,
Derek and Dan, just unmute both of them.
Yep.
And this is Dan, just say hello.
Hello.
And Derek, say hello.
Go ahead, Derek.
Guys, how's it going?
Okay, good. So here's a scenario. I haven't told these guys anything. They haven't seen this picture before. They don't even really know who's going to be the customer and who's going to be the salesman here. But this is typical in our world. Whatever profession you're in, we have them send us pictures so we can have a real, open, honest, personal conversation with that person. So here's a real picture that was sent to me, and this is pretty typical for us pond people. She bought a house, and the pond leaks. In this case, it's really a pondless, but when she fills it up, within a day, it's sucking air, and that's all she knows. She doesn't know squat. So, Dan, I'm going to let you decide if you want to be the customer or the salesman.
I will be the customer.
All right, so that's going to leave Derek as a salesman. So the way this thing sets up is Derek's a salesman. He's calling Dan the customer, and Dan's going to start with hello.
Hello. Hey, Dan, this is Derek with JBI Secret Gardens. How are you today?
Good, Derek. Yourself?
Doing well. Hey, thanks for sending the picture over to me so I could get a feel for what's going on. Is this a good time to talk about it?
Yeah, this is perfect.
Well, tell me what's going on.
Well, my wife and I just bought this house, and when we looked at it, this beautiful waterfall was running, but come to find out, we think it's leaking really bad because we fill it up, and then the next day it's running dry again. So I was wondering if you could take a look at this and help me figure out how to get it from leaking anymore.
Sure. So you definitely feel confident that it does have a leak, but any idea where it might be coming from at all?
We don't really know nothing about it. I've walked around the edges to see if I could see anything real major, but nothing really too apparent.
Okay. So you've just acquired this water feature per se, Is it aesthetically pleasing to you, or is it just a leak issue we're just trying to address right now?
Oh no, I mean we love it when it's running. It's gorgeous. I mean it has nice sound to it, and just the look of the water coming off the rocks is really incredible. But yeah, it's a little bit of both too. It's the leak is something we can't live with, and that's right by my basement. I don't want water getting in the basement or anything. It's new carpet down there, and we just don't want the liability of a leaky water feature where we don't know where it's coming from.
Gotcha. So aesthetically, you're totally cool with the way it looks, and if it didn't leak, you're completely happy. Wouldn't change a thing.
I mean, if you had any recommendations to make it better looking, I'd be open for that too.
We can definitely spruce it up a little bit and add a few things here and there. So I just wanted to make sure that so your wife kind of feels the same way. It's just a leak issue. That's really what we're focusing on here.
So yeah, I mean, we like the way it looks, but if there are some things that maybe could be better. I mean that green bush growing all around it, it's kind of ugly. So I mean, we're open for options.
Okay. Well, do you want to talk a little bit about money for a minute?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think this would cost to fix? Do you have any idea?
Well, we've got a couple of pricing protocols, but since there might be an option to maybe spruce some things up and even make it that much nicer, have you and the wife talked about how much you might consider spending on something like this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've got a rough idea of what might be a comfortable figure.
What are you thinking?
Well, what could we get for $5,000?
Uh, we could fix your leak.
Okay. I mean, so 5,000 and you fix this leak for me?
Absolutely.
Okay. What can I get for 10?
I can't tell if there's any lights on there, but now we could probably get it lit up and maybe address the lower area. Maybe get a few more rocks in there. How's that sound?
Yeah. Yeah, and do you think you could, take that bush out or something?
Yeah, we could address that a little bit. How about what if I told you $20,000? Does that freak you out?
Yeah, you might be getting a little high now. We could probably go to 15 somewhere, but that's probably cutting it pretty close to the max.
Okay. I just see there's something we could do for that, but I understand. We need to watch the investment. So, well, Dan, I appreciate you sending the picture over, and we're kind of having this conversation, but obviously things may look a little different when I get on site. So I'd like to ask you for a favor, if that's okay.
Yeah, what's that?
I'd like you to be really honest with me when I come out, because I'm going to be honest with you and let you know that I may see something that I can't do within the 5,000, the 10,000. You did mention 15,000. That budget, that it might even cost more, and I'll be straight up and honest with you and say I just can't do it for that price. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, we want to work with an honest contractor.
And the big favor I want to ask you is, while I'm out there and we're looking at it, and for some reason you just feel uncomfortable with what I'm proposing, is to truly give me a yes or no on the spot. Because sometimes people will kind of give me a I'm thinking about it, and that really feels like a slow no. And the last thing you want is me to chase you around and just bug you trying to get an answer out of you. So would you be honest with me while I'm there and give me a yes or no on the spot?
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty comfortable with how you're talking. I think you get my vision. So yeah, I think I can give you a yes or no answer.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. And you did mention your wife. Does she have an impact on this decision?
Yeah, she'll want to be there. She's the one that sent you the pictures.
Excellent. So do you have your wife's schedule?
Yeah, I mean, we work kind of some funky hours, but afternoons during the week are best, and even weekends are fine.
Okay. Well, what do you think we should do next, Dan?
Well, I mean, what do you normally do? Do you come out and look at my pond? Is that can you come out here?
Absolutely. I feel comfortable with what we've discussed and your budget, and so yeah, let's schedule something up.
Okay. Well, you want to say this Friday at around 1? Does that work?
Yeah, totally works for me. I can, and your wife's cool with that. We can have her there at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, that'll work.
Excellent. So, well, cool. One more thing, Dan, before we get this scheduled up, is I do charge a consultation fee to come out and see you, and that's $150, which I'll credit right into the job when you give me a yes on the spot. And how does that sound?
Yeah, I guess if I'm spending 5 grand, that would make sense. So yeah, that's all right with me.
Cool. And one other little thing too, there is a way that you could save that $150. You want to hear about that?
Sure.
Well, I come out, we come to agreement on the price, and you write me a 50% deposit. You don't even have to write me that check for $150. How would that sound?
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm good with that.
Excellent. Well, cool. Well, I'll see you and the wife next week, Dan.
All right, sounds good, Derek.
Thanks, man.
All right, Tom, I'd like to weigh in first here.
Yeah, I got some feedback too, so go for it.
A couple of people are saying, Dan, you're being too easy. You're throwing them softballs. You're making it easy. Well, when you all first start, it's important that the customer is not a total pain in the ass because you're trying to get this process down. Okay? Derek did get the pain and pleasure. He went about his own way to get the budget in there, got that yes or no in there. All the decision makers will be there. And he had a really innovative way, I thought, about the consultation fee at the end. So he got all the 5 points Derek's way, and Dan was an easy customer. So before Tom gives his critique of this whole thing, without these two guys even knowing it, I want to flip it around. I want Derek. I want to move faster. I want Derek to be a total pain in the ass, Derek. And then Dan, you do what you do if you've got a pain in the ass customer, so everybody can see the other way around. Are you cool with that, Dan?
That's cool.
All right. So Tom,
Yep.
what do you think?
No, well, Derek, I think my one big thing is I would have liked to seen you bracket the budget number better.
Okay.
With a high and a low, like we've talked about, I think it would have been more clarity, and then just follow it up with if he says, yeah, like maybe 15 would work, I would, clarify it again. So, all right, so let's pretend I come out there and it's 13.5. What would happen next?
Right.
And to me, that's where it felt just a little shaky, having known what you normally do. So I think that's where my mind first went. So with that, that's it. We'll just move on and let you guys flip roles here and bang it out.
Cool.
All right. So Derek, you say hello, and Dan, you're the salesman. Derek, you be your pain in the ass customer that we all get here and there.
Perfect.
All right. Hey, is this Derek?
Yeah.
Hey, Derek, Dan with Good Earth. Got your picture of the pond. Is this a good time to talk?
Who are you with?
Good Earth Outdoor. You sent me the photo of your pondless waterfall.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Dan?
Good, Derek. Yourself?
A little rushed. Got a lot going on today. So what's going on?
Well, did you have a time to chat here, or should we try again later?
I appreciate you asking. I've got a few minutes, so let's go.
All right. Well, I'm looking at this picture of the pond you sent me. What's going on with it?
Well, I've got this, I don't know, waterless pond or whatever you call this thing, and it won't hold water.
Well, what's the problem with that? It's waterless.
That's true. Well, asshole.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, this thing leaks, man. So how can you help me?
Well, have you attempted to try a diagnosis leak or anything?
We just put a hose in it and just let it run.
Okay. And then does the waterfall run whenever you turn it on?
It does, and we got to put water in it every day.
Okay. So you have to fill it every day, huh?
Yeah.
All right. You have to do it by your garden hose?
Yeah, it's the wife goes out there and just throws the hose in it.
Oh. Well, is that too big of a chore then, really?
Yeah, she doesn't care for it. She wants me to do it, and I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Well, I mean, do you want to fix this leak, or are you looking to just get rid of this thing all in general? Do you even like it?
What would it cost? Just come out to my house. Just come on out and just make this thing work.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty general question. I'd like to ask you, a few more questions, if that's all right.
Sure.
Uh, I mean, you said you haven't had any diagnostics with the leak. You just tried to fill it up. You haven't looked for any wet spots, haven't seen anything like that?
I don't have a clue.
Okay. And why are you wanting to, redo this if it's just a pain in the butt? I mean, do you like this water feature?
It's really it's a big deal for my wife, and it's a big deal for her. It's a big deal for me, and she loves the sound of it. And we got a little patio here. She likes to sit outside and have a bottle of wine or two. So it's really for her. So I just need to get this thing fixed, and just come out and take a look at it and tell me what it's going to cost.
Okay. Well, if I was able to tell you that right now, would you be all right with that?
Absolutely. I don't know how you could possibly do that, but sure, why not?
Oh, Derek, I mean, there's a couple different ways we could do it. I mean, to, you know, fix this entire thing up, I mean, we could really, blow you out of the water and give you a whole new waterfall, new system, new filtration, everything. But, you know, something like that, you could spend around $15,000 to $20,000 doing that. I mean, I don't know if that's the conversation you'd rather have, or just to fix it up, you might be looking around 5 to 8, somewhere around there.
So five. You know what? Let me throw $30,000 at it. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, you name the price and you want to spend the money, and I'll spend it for you.
Yeah, let's do 30.
Okay. Well, for $30,000, I can give you a hell of a lot more than what you have right now.
Dan, hang on a second, please. I got a quick phone call. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So, I mean, is that what you're telling me? You want to spend 30 grand on fixing this thing up?
Yep, I'm okay with it.
All right. Very good. Well, is your wife all right with that too?
As long as I keep her in the booze, she's good with everything.
You're in the booth. So, she doesn't make any of the financial decisions here, or what?
She'd have some creative input.
Okay. Well, if I told your wife then, if I'm at your house and I said this was 30 grand to redo, she's all good with that?
She would be just fine with that.
All right, very good. Well, Derek, I mean, I think I can make something work with your budget. I'll be completely honest with you. If I come out to your house and see something that's going to prevent us from sticking to that number, are you okay with me just shooting you straight like that?
I'm a straight shooter, Dan. I expect you to be too.
Of course I would be, and I would like your wife to obviously be there too. So she's available to meet.
Agreed? Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. If I come out and I draw up a $30,000 water feature with the bells and whistles you want, I mean, what's going to happen next then, Derek?
If you got a good game plan, I'm ready to write you a check.
Okay, sounds good. Well, what would you like to do from here?
Let's get you out to the house.
All right, very good. Derek, we do have a $150 consultation fee. Is that cool to proceed with?
What is that for?
It's just for our time, and I'd like to take your word that I'm gonna be doing work for you, but it just covers our time basically to come out and meet with you.
I guess so. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Very good. I'll tell you what, Derek. If you're going to spend 30 grand with me, I'll credit the 150 back to you if it's that big of a deal.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, I will see you. Did you say Sunday at 1 work still?
Yeah. I think that'll be good. Yeah. It'll probably be all right.
Okay. Very good. See you then.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye.
Sorry, Dan.
All right, so let me chime in first again, if you don't mind. First off, Derek, I was really hoping you were going to just say no on the consultation. Just say no. Because how many times do we have conversation with people and they'll do what you do and they throw all kinds of money because they know they're really lying. And my carpet guys get this all the time. And the second you bring up the consultation, you find out if they're full of it or not. And they just go, no. And then you'll find out that they were really lying. So I was kind of hoping you were going in that direction with them, number one. And my only other observation, to be real, is not too many times do I say, look, I could blow you out of the water for 20 grand, and the customer comes back and goes, what can you do for 30? I mean,
Right.
really, how much did that happen in real life? But it also throws Dan for a loop, and he's thinking, oh my God, what do I say now? So like Tom Reber is alluding to, somebody else said it on here, that all kinds of crazy stuff comes out in these conversations, and you got to be pretty fast on your feet. So this is why you practice over and over and over, and you talk to 100 different people, and guess what? You're going to have 100 crazy situations, and if you can remember how you get in and out of these situations the next go round, then it all just is a little smoother each and every time.
And I want to weigh in on a couple things, Dan. I thought you did really well that I hope people noticed. Derek said, well, can't you just come on out? He said that a couple times, and I thought you did a great job. Right away, quick on your feet. You said, well, I could sure do that, but what if I could? And then you said, tell you what it would cost right now. Using that what if question. Later on, you asked, I just took some notes. You wrote, what's going to happen when this happens, or what would you like to do next? You asked those questions where you put the ball in their court, and I thought you did a really awesome job at that, of just kind of going with the flow and keeping it from getting awkward for you. So good job, dude.
Thank you.
Yep.
So the bottom line to both of these role plays back and forth, that they have a process. Both Derek and Dan and everybody in the CSA, you have a game plan. I can't tell you how many times I used to go up to a house, knock on the door, and I'm looking through my notes to find out, wow, was this an install? Was this a leak? Was this repair? I didn't really do any prep work whatsoever. I was blindly going from consultation to consultation because people agreed to pay me $150, and I thought that was being a businessman, and that was good enough. That was bullshit. Now, these two guys at least have a game plan. They want to go through this stuff, and they want to find out who's real, who's not. So when you knock on the door the next time, you're there to collect a deposit check. So it starts with a game plan, right? So both, good job, guys, and that's all this is.
And guys, I want to touch, because this is one of the most common things that I know I would get in the painting industry and a lot of, the carpet industry, and a lot of you contractors, a lot of us contractors here, is somebody gets on the phone, they say, yeah, we got your number and blah, blah, blah. Do you give free estimates? And so this is where you've got to be comfortable understanding your process. And so just a good hack for that for me is I'll jump right to the consult fee. Hey, do you guys give free estimates? Oh, we absolutely do. It works one of two ways. Our estimates work one of two ways. You can send me a picture, we can have a conversation on the phone, and that doesn't cost you a thing. Or we can set up a design consultation that's $150 where I come out on site. What would you like to do? So don't be afraid to say the tough things, the awkward things, because the more you do it, it's like learning a new golf swing or shooting a basketball with your other hand or whatever it is. You've got to practice over and over and over and put yourself in these situations so that when it comes time for game time, you're not totally freaking out on yourself. All right.
Yeah, and Dan Alk put something really good in the box there, because this happened to me, God, 50 times. I wouldn't even know their name.
Mm-hmm.
As I knock on the door, I'm reading my little piece of paper that I have in my hand and going, okay, It's Bob and Jan Smith, okay. And, just blindly showing up. And guess what that got me? 22% closure rate. Mike Carrillo said it best last week. When he used to go with me, we would spend all Saturday, 3 consultations. It would take 6, 7 hours to do it all. And you know what we got for the day? $450. 3 150 consultations. That's it. And 10 years ago, I used to think that was awesome. Honey, I just made $450 for the day. But guess what? It's not.
And guys, talk about, I want to make sure that you understand that one of the purposes of this process is to save your time. And so, I talk to dozens of contractors every month, you guys, and the average time that it takes to do an estimate is 3 to 4 hours, depending on the trade. Okay, you're a half an hour to an hour in the car on the way out there. You're tap dancing in front of them. I got to go work the bid up, or they got to think about it and all that other crap. Then you spend God knows how many days, following up and chasing them down just to get, a no most times. And so I would much rather have these conversations on the phone and talk through it. Warren Hoffman's a painting contractor on the East Coast, and he let me know the other day. He says in 1 month his closing rate and his revenue went up about 25% just using this on the phone, and he was working a lot less because of this time. We have this belief so much, and I had this for years. I've done over 8,000 estimates in my life, standing in front of people. You guys, I used to think that I had to go out there and I could actually magically win them over by being friendly and likable and presenting the company well and all that other stuff, when in most cases, we're really not able to talk anyone into doing business with us if they're not a good fit. And I would much rather know that in a 10 to 20 minute phone call than by going out and tap dancing.
So at this morning's build, we had half a dozen CACs, and most of them are in this CSA, and one of them is Scott McElwee with B Landscaping. And I said, Scott, I haven't really talked to you a whole hell of a lot, but we're doing our last webinar today. So how's this whole CSA thing working for you, really? And you know what his answer was? He goes, this morning, Steve, every morning at 8:30, I get to take my 3 kids to school. Enough said. He goes, because this thing has saved me and allotted me the time to do that. And that shit I'll never get back. So that was all I needed to hear from him.
Good stuff. All right, man. So couple things here, guys. Just other ways that we're really trying to help. We want to make you a better business person. We want to help you be a better marketer. And I think, Steve, the third one down there, mindset, this is 99% of what we're about here.
Yeah, that's the big one there. This is basically the, oh my God, Steve's on stage. That guy's a pompous ass or a jerk, or it could only happen in Maryland, or it can only happen with Premier Pond. It can. You fill in the excuse. What we try to get you to believe, and what you do believe, hopefully when you're done with us, is to believe that you can go anywhere you want to go and make this stuff happen, because it's all 100% between your ears.
Bingo. So
we do other special things like QuickBooks. Okay, we throw up some special stuff, and all this stuff: help, happy, hiring, special situations, the work-life balance, just overall business IQ, understanding, and confidence. And like my buddy Rado said to me, he said it best. He goes, I actually like having my own company now, and he hasn't liked it for freaking 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just other things, and there's so much more shit that we can't even. I don't even know what's coming out of my mouth when I get on these webinars, and I think people can attest to that. So you just learn a lot of stuff. And all I know, to be honest, and it's Tom, myself, and everybody in this group, when you hang out with people with higher aspirations, you also have higher aspirations, and you'll get better yourself. So you're just hanging out with positive people, and we just get better together.
Good stuff. All right, so the remainder of our time here, we're gonna talk about some stuff here, Steve. I'm gonna throw the screen to you.
All right.
Well, actually, you can't control the screen. Never mind.
Yeah, I can. I just give me the screen. I got the whole thing. I'm good.
You got your.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Your thing.
Yeah,
There you go.
All right, so you got me, Tom?
I think so.
All right, you got my screen
There
up?
we go. Does everyone see Steve's screen?
Hit me up with a yes in there, somebody. All right, so we're all good to go. All right, so what we want to do now is spend the rest of our time, Tom and I, just sharing, and a lot of this stuff is all brand new to our CSA members too. We just have a bunch of connected dots, but also random thoughts to throw out your way to just get you to think about you and your business in a whole different way, or continue in the way you're doing if it's the right thing. Today we're in the age of acceleration. It is so fast. When people get on a website like your website, they have about the attention span of 6 seconds before they get off. Think about what you do. When you try to load something, how many times do you just kill the load because you don't want to wait for the damn thing to load up? It used to be 9 seconds. Now it's 6 seconds. I bet in 2 years, it's 2 or 3 seconds. Boom. If it's not in there right in front of me, I ain't going to wait. Amazon, the number one biggest, largest seller of everything in the entire world, for every second that it takes for their website to load up, they lose $1 billion. $1 billion per second for people just getting off because they don't want to wait that long to get it to load up. Is that amazing? So stuff happens fast, so you got to be ready. A lot of times, it's the smallest things, the things that are cheap, the things that are easy, but they make all the difference in the world, and it's how you implement them. And just for instance, here's just the first thing. When someone calls you up and you answer the phone, do you go, yeah, Steve, yeah, what do you need? What can I help you with? Or do you go, good afternoon, Premier Pond, this is Steve, how can I help you? Is it that thing to make the person on the other end of the phone want to make it to talk to you? Or even how about just answering the phone instead of going to a machine? Who wants to go talk to a machine? So there's 1,000 little things. We'll talk about a bunch more that just are so easy and cheap, and they'll make all the difference to people.
Mm-hmm.
So when you run your company, okay, I want you to read these 3 things, and you tell me, I want you to put in the chat box, 1, 2, or 3, put a number. Which of all this stuff is more important to you as a business owner or the top dog? Is it the story that we tell ourselves about ourselves or our company, the story we tell others, or is it what other people are talking to other people about? Okay, we got across the board. It's all a bunch of 3s. Of course it is. Because guess what? How many times do you go to an awesome restaurant for 5 years in a row and boy, you get one crap meal and what happens? That one negative experience pulls it down. How many times do you have something great? You had such great customer experience, okay? Jack, I love you too.
Yeah.
And people will tell other people about you. That's the real deal, because you know what? Number 1 is talk. Number 2 is talk, and it's all bullshit. Number 3, that's what you do. That is your action, okay? Because if you do the right things, people talk to you about that stuff. So this is just unbelievable stuff that you get to have such an impact on other people's lives. But don't fool yourself. It ain't 1 and it ain't 2. So if you could figure out where you are and where your company is in terms of uniqueness, top left is number 10. You got a high. You're very, very unique. You can build a one-off, okay? Or on the very bottom scale, you bring a lot of value to people, okay? Which one of these quadrants do you think you want to be into, that you're totally unique but bring no value, or you could bring all value and totally unique? So if all you got is a one-time shot for everybody, okay, but bring no value to anybody, it's not a repeatable business, okay? And it's just pretty stupid. And then in the next quadrant, if you're just going to bring no uniqueness and no value, of course, that's just ridiculous, all right? So, and those people that compete on only value, in other words, it's normally the people that race to the bottom. It's just always fighting on price, all right? And you're just the same old as everybody else. But if you can figure out how you can be unique and bring value, then you'll become connected. And I believe this is the most powerful concept between you and your customer and you and your employees is how do you really connect with these people, okay? How do you really make them feel like they're the one, all right? You got to understand, value is, value to you and value to me might be different. Uniqueness of value, these are just our own perceptions. If you really go in, some of us could go into Nordstrom's and pay $65 for a t-shirt. And we walk out and we feel good. Andy Northey took all his guys and spent whatever, $600-700 per pair of shoes. So all his guys felt special. They felt value and unique. He was happy with that. I pay $3,000 a year to go see a foo-foo doctor that takes care of me. I find value in that. For me, it's great, okay? And for some people, it's not, though. So this is just what they think. And so you have to understand that, when you go to sell, you're selling like you buy. And what you find unique and valuable, the customer may not. But yet we're trying to impose our values. You may go, holy crap, I would never buy a $50,000 pond or a $12,000 piece of carpet for my living room, okay? But so therefore we have a hard time selling sometimes. But don't put your thoughts in the customer's head. And a lot of times, it's just the littlest thing in life can make the most profound difference. We did a job a couple of months back, and this lady spent $50,000 on a big renovation in her backyard, landscape, the whole thing, and a bunch of it was a pondless waterfall that sucked air after 6 hours every day. So we tore it apart and rebuilt it for like $20,000. Her whole fear was not redoing a brand new water feature for $20,000. Her yard was so beautiful. Her extreme fear was that we were going to trample and smash all her plants and ruin her backyard. And the entire time, that was her whole thing. And I smelled it, and I knew about it, and we got out the job, we fluffed up her grass, and she just was so happy at the end. She loved the new water feature, of course, but she was really happy because her biggest fear didn't come true. We didn't ruin her backyard. So that was the little thing that we did for her. Here's another concept, and I haven't changed it, but I am. I went with my son Logan about a month ago to listen to this guy. This guy you see in the picture, his name is Paul Dunn. He's 80 years old, and he gave a 4-hour fire and brimstone talk on stage. He was a guy that Hewlett-Packard handpicked 25 years ago to open up HP of Australia. He's had many businesses and he's successful. Here's your quotation. My proposal is on the left-hand side, all right? You list all your same crapola that we all list on our proposal, and at the very bottom, we give them a price. He's saying, flip it all around, and just be open-minded about this. The next time you give your presentation, okay, on top, you give them the price first and say, and that includes a number of very special things. And instead of listing blah, blah, blah like we normally do, throw up all over them with technical jargon, we list the things we do. Skimmer, it removes the leaves. A filter, low maintenance. You fill in the blanks to make it readable, And what else, in the chat box while I'm chatting, what else do you notice about this quotation, the one on the left versus the one on the right? There is a profound difference that psychologically makes a huge way we know what we're thinking about. Can anyone pick it out? All right. Dan writes up there, no zeros. Look at the way the money is written on the left proposal. It's a 1, a comma, 3 digits, a digit, a digit, a digit. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 digits long with the dollar sign. Look at the top left price. It's 5 digits long. In our brains, it feels like it's half price. You see that? And I just started doing this myself, and it's the most thing. And like I said, these are the little things. Cheap, easy, little thing. Rewrite your proposal. I am going to redo my proposal, and you know where it's going next? On our CSA page, okay? And I'm going to try this out myself. It's awesome, it's cheap, it's easy, and it's a proven method.
So, hey, real quick on that note, you guys, literally just yesterday, I said no to somebody who gave me a proposal that looked like the left one because it was a bunch of blah, 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 and they weren't, I didn't have the confidence that they were giving me the result. The other thing that I did that I think most buyers do, and this is where one of the best things you could do to create a better experience for your customers, is step out of your contractor role and into the shoes of the customer. The first thing a customer does when your proposal lands in their inbox or you hand it to them is they flip to the bottom or they scroll to the bottom to look at the price. And the way on the right, you throw it at the top, you're proud of it. Here it is. This is what it costs. It's actually making it easier for them to figure out how much the thing costs. So it's all about them and their perception, not about us.
All right, so here's a totally different idea that was shocking to me. And this guy, Paul Dunn, whenever he schedules meetings, we all schedule these things. Okay, we'll set up the appointment. I got, between 10 and 2. How about 10? How about 12? He always schedules his meetings at either 9:20 or 9:50. In other words, on the 20 or on the 50. And the reason he does that, think about it. If someone set a meeting up with you and they set the meeting up for, I'll meet you at 9:18, what would you think? That's crazy. What do you mean 9:18? This guy must be pretty exact. Well, let me tell you what I did right after this happened. I had a meeting with Mark Willoughby from Splash to go to lunch and set up to start talking about condominium. And I said, okay, I'll call you tomorrow at 9:15. And I called him at 9:16. Guess what the first thing he said out of his mouth to me? You're 1 minute late. And I went, you are exactly right. Now, if I'd have said, I'll call you about 9, I'll call you at 9 tomorrow, and I called him at 9:01, that seems pretty prompt. Now, here's the rub with that. It just makes you different. And you know what? Your people will be on time. If you tell them I'll see you there at 9:20, trust me, psychologically, they'll be there at 9:20. They'll be expecting you. And that's the rub. You got to be there on time. You can't play this game and not be there on time. So if you tell someone, I'll see you at 10:50, that'll pique their interest, and that'll be a conversation point. But guess what? You better be there at 10:49, or else that entire concept will backfire on you. Pretty amazing, isn't it? But here's another thing. We all talk about marketing, and we all talk about advertising, right? And advertising, think about it. There's a thing I copied from this guy's speech, that advertising is a fee for being uninspiring. Think about that concept for a second while I tell you this story. 25 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever that was, Google and Netscape. Who remembers Netscape? Type a yes or I do in the chat box if you have ever heard of Netscape. Okay? Netscape was a behemoth search engine back when Google just started. They were battling it out. When Netscape comes up and says, you know what? We have 10 times the money of Google, so we are going to put all our money in advertising and bury Google and become the next search engine. Google said, we don't have so much money, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take every penny we got, and we're going to make the experience of searching the best. And we're going to let the public decide who's the better search engine. And the rest is history. And as it turns out, there's a famous quote that the Netscape guy said at the time. When he's talking to his people, okay, he said, look, if we have data, then we'll make our decisions data-driven. But if we don't have any data, then since I'm king and I make the most money and I'm CEO, then we're going to go with my decision. And he went with his decision to outspend Google, and that's what you got. Because he didn't think it was important to listen to everybody in his company. So, flipping to the next concept, I want you to think about you and your company. Think about everything that you do in your company to provide an awesome experience for the people that call you up. Think about the process. In me, We'll just talk about this. The first way people get connected with you and your company is what? For me, maybe it's going to my website. They go to my website first. Is that a good experience for them? Is it easy to navigate? Is there an easy call to action? Are they compelled to press a button, and in my case, send me some pictures? Do they want to do that? So I look at that process, because your company is nothing but a bunch of processes, right? You're 20 processes all stuck together to get to the deposit check at the end, right? So then what's the next thing they do? Maybe after that, if they're compelled, they send me some pictures, and I call them up, and we have a phone conversation. Or maybe it's just they call me, and I answer the phone. Do I answer the phone in such a way that makes them want to talk to me? Is that a connected moment? Do they really like our thing? So the next thing after that, we go through the whole Shinfu process, okay? That open, honest discussion on how we're trying to get to find out, are we a good match? And is that fun for the customers? I did a go-to-meeting. I actually did a go-to-meeting about 2 months ago live with a customer with their pictures on there, and just like I'm doing now, I drew their pond and their waterfall in their backyard, and we had the whole Shinfu meeting on the phone with like 37 of you watching. And I told them that you guys would be watching. And I asked them, and I told them, how did you like that process? And when I got to the house, they said, we loved it. Because you know what, Steve? We already knew you. By the time you got to our house, we knew you. We knew the pond you were going to build in our backyard. And it was a great connected moment for them. And I'm going to do more of them. Actually send customers go to meetings so I can draw all over their pictures. How crazy is that? And then the next step of process, suppose I do get over there and we have our meeting, our face-to-face meeting am I dressed well? Do they like the whole thing? Is it smooth? Do they feel like I'm the guy? I'm the company, okay? Or are you showing up tattered and not well put together or not even prepared for the whole thing? And then the next process of mine is my guys. We show up. How do you show up with your guys to build the pond, to put in the carpet? Do you show up with them? Do you transfer the trust? Remember, they trust you. Now they got to trust your people. Do you transfer the trust? Is it a smooth transition? How do the guys do it? It's that whole building of the pond, like that lady with the lawn that we didn't ruin, that we fluffed up and made her feel awesome, okay? And then maybe after you're done, do you have some sort of follow-up, okay? We personally suck at follow-up. I know that's one of the things I got to change, okay? Do you call them back? Do you write them a note? Do you do something for them? Do you make sure that you're really as good as you think? Because guess what? There was a big poll done recently, and 80% of all the Fortune 500 companies, 80% of them thought they gave kick-ass service. So this pollster, then he went out and he called all the customers. Type in the box right now, how many percent of the customers thought those same companies gave a kick-ass service? All right, Dan, you cheated. You're exactly right. 8% of the customers, okay? So here's a situation where 80% of the companies thought they were awesome, okay? And only 8% of the customers thought the same way. How's that for a thing? So
I want to know what, type in the box, what areas, when you look at your business and all the different touch points you have, this is why we talk a lot about talking about money on your website, what your products cost, how much does a paint job cost, or carpet installation, or hardwood refinishing. Tell people, make the experience better for them. What about setting up the job? Most contractors, I remember doing a video not too long ago about what happens between the time somebody tells you yes and the day that you show up. What opportunities are there between them? Because most customers are in no man's land, and then you call a day or two before and you go, yeah, we're going to be there on Thursday, and then you invade their home and invade their property and all that other stuff, and it just makes it for a more stressful experience. So I want you guys to weigh in and take some action this week of how you're going to make that experience better from people. Look at every bit of your process, every bit of your company, and turn over every stone and make sure that it's what it needs to be.
So let's just talk about the simple thing of answering a phone call. They say if you actually smile when you answer the phone, that the it really goes through. It really picks up. The customers pick it up on the other end of the phone. Look at this person. Who would not buy whatever she's selling because of her bubbly? She looks like she is so happy to help you. I don't even care what she's selling. But that's the kind of thing that you need to really think about when you are communicating with your prospects or the customers out there. You have to be different. You have to be special. You have to be Nordstrom's. We all stand up and say we're Nordstrom's, but some of us aren't Nordstrom's. We're really Kmart. This personality that you're looking at right here, you can see it in her eyes. This is Nordstrom's all the way, and she's about to give you everything she's got, okay? And I agree. She's probably a CXO. So there you go. One of the easiest things to do in life, if you really want to be something special, is quit doing all the what's in the world, quit producing plastic, quit producing ponds, quit producing a waterfall, quit producing all this stuff that we do. Figure out why you do it. This is Steve Jobs, a quick little story about him. If you don't know the history of Steve Jobs, by the way, I went to the movie and it sucked, but he started Apple, him and Steve Wozniak, and they killed it, made a ton of money, and then he got fired because things weren't going so well. And on January 8th, 1999, they brought him back, okay? The company was worth $2.57 a share, and they had 3 months' worth of money left over. The first thing he did was fire the entire board. The second thing he did was get rid of all the products they were making, because they were just making stuff, okay? They were just making, I'm going to say ion gens, something we can relate to, right? And he said, we got to get back to what the hell we're doing. We want to change lives, okay? You know what his first product out of the boot was? Pretty soon, the iPod. He figured out a way to take 1,000 songs and put them in that plastic box, all right? That profoundly changed the way we listen to music. Think about it now. We all walk around with our phones, and they're stored in our phones, okay? When he took over, you know what was smoking hot? The Walkman. And the CD man was just coming out, barely just coming out. You remember the Walkman? Mm-hmm. Well, he totally changed it. You guys know, how in the hell could Steve sell 200 ion jets for $1,200? You know why? Because I'm not selling the what. I'm not selling the copper and the plastic and the crap. I'm selling why. Why? So you don't ever have to get up on the waterfall and touch string algae again. Why? You don't have to waste your time with maintenance. Why? Your life is going to be easy. See, the why is worth $1,200 to these people if you present it like the why. But if you just want to give them plastic and sell it for $400, that's all the value that they're perceiving. Okay? That's the uniqueness that you're actually presenting. It's not the right way to go about this stuff. You need to figure out why the hell you're in business, put a smile on your face, and act like you mean it. Does that make sense to y'all out there? So I believe the difference many times between a good business person and a great successful business is the crap that we say no to. How many times have you, type it in now, how many times have you said yes, and when you got into this job and you just said, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have done it. I knew I shouldn't have taken this job. I knew it, but I did it anyways. How hard is it for us as contractors to say no? Even if you don't have a job coming up and there's a crap job that you may or may not make money on, does that make sense? Hell no, it doesn't make sense. We all do the same thing, okay? You got to have the guts, the balls, the whatever, fill in the blank, to tell these people, no, not everybody deserves to be your customer. You don't even want all the customers, okay? You want the customers that truly believe in what you believe in. When I go out and do my thing, these people are paying up. You know I charge more than anybody else. They're paying up, and they expect more, and they get it. We're on the same page, because you know what? Their values and my values are exactly the same. And I'll bump into my folks, I bump into them at Costco, okay? Because we got the same mindset. I don't mind buying a 2 years worth of toilet paper because I'm going to get a good deal on it, okay? The same thing, I'll bump into them at Nordstrom's. And I never bump into them at Kmart for no other reason than I would never shop at Kmart.
I was going to ask you when the last time you were in Kmart was.
Yeah, so you'll never get that. So here's a big concept, the biggest concept of all that Tom and I talk about a lot. I recently went to Italy, and I went and had one of the best vacations I've ever had. And my son Logan and I were in a piazza square in Rome, and it was probably 11 o'clock at night, and it was so festive, and it was just beautiful, and party city, everything was going on. And there's that typical guy on his knees, and he's spray painting these pictures, the most amazing pictures you'll ever do. And you all know what I'm talking about. And he spent about 20, 22 minutes with this picture, and everybody's going, ooh, ah, oh, and it's amazing. And then as soon as he's done, he puts it right up next to his thing, and he says, there it is, 10 euro. 10 euro is equivalent to about $11.40. So this guy thinks that he places a value on himself of $11.40. What he doesn't realize, and Picasso did realize, is he spent a lifetime. He spent many, many years to get to that point so he could produce that in 22 minutes. Picasso painted a painting for a lady, and when he said what he wanted, she goes, that is outrageous. How in the hell could you charge me that amount of money for that amount of painting, and it only took you a few hours? He says, madam, it did not take me a few hours. I have a lifetime of practice. I have my 10,000 hours I put into this thing so I could produce this. So you're buying a lifetime of my craftsmanship. You're not buying 3 hours. So when someone gives you some bullshit that it only takes you two days, or can you break down the materials, can you break down the labor, that's crap. You have the ability to put it all together. That's what they're paying for. You want to come in, create magic, and leave. It ain't how much the carpet costs. It's a whole experience of them coming in your private home and making it happen so they feel like, man, that was an awesome experience. And that's a big difference between charging $11.40 for what you do and $500 for that painting. And it's up to you to present to them that I'm worth it. So that brings us to the end of our sort of our session here. Tom?
Yes, sir. So for those of you that are CSA members of session 2 here, I'm just going to take the screen back. Make myself presenter. There we go. Show my screen. Holy cow, I'm way behind you.
Hey, Tom, my screen's bigger than your screen. Hi, guys.
I'm not even going to go there. But guys, listen, we want to congratulate you for, pushing through this thing. And first of all, I want to thank you for being part of it. We want to thank you for all the work you put in to help make the group awesome, because if it's just Steve and I running our mouths and we don't have the involvement of you guys mentoring one another, coaching one another, pushing one another, calling each other out, supporting each other, then we don't have the success. You don't have the success in this group that you joined for. And so I really appreciate all you guys, and I want to congratulate you. I want to let everyone know real quick, the next session is beginning in February, middle of the month. Ignore this link because I'm going to be sending out a different one that's cooler than that. So with that, couple things. If you've made it through this session here, is don't be satisfied with the success you've had. Enjoy it, but don't be satisfied. Stay sharp, keep practicing, keep the momentum going. Just because our official calls are over doesn't mean that you don't still have access to the group for several more weeks, actually a couple more months until the next session begins. So if you're a member, you still have access to the group. Use the group, keep role playing with one another. Feel free to throw a message to Steve and I if we can help you in any way we can. So keep, focused on all that. The other is, you got to practice. And I know, Steve, you got a story about this, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
My wife makes me take dance lessons most Saturdays at noon, and I always do the same thing. I swear to the dance teacher that I'm going to practice, and I never do. And I go back and I suck. I've learned everything she taught me the week before, and now, every day it's like add 2 more steps, 2 more steps. Now I'm supposed to know 12 steps, and I don't know any of them because I don't practice. And I told her the last time, I said, you know what I am? I'm a hypocrite. I get on this CSA and I tell these people, if you want to get better, you got to practice. But yet, in my own life, when it comes to my dance lessons, I don't practice. And I know that's the only thing it's going to take for me to get better. So it truly, no matter what you're trying to improve on, you got to work it out. You got to practice, or you're just fooling yourself.
Yeah, that, to me, that's the number one difference maker of this and other sales trainings I've gone through and been a part of and done is the participation and the commitment, the secret handshake we've all given one another that we are going to push one another and make each other practice so that by the time it's, I was listening to actually a podcast the other day and this one guy said, what's the difference between somebody who's great and somebody who's a legend? And it's the one who's a legend can do it under pressure. And that only happens when you take the talent and you practice and you work your tail off. And that's why the Michael Jordans of the world are able to hit that free throw or hit that shot under pressure. Anyone can hit those shots in practice over and over, but the great ones can do it when it counts. And that's what this whole group is about, is you being able to come through for your own team and totally kick butt when it counts. So with that, you guys, hey, next week.
Yeah. Yeah, one
Go
more.
ahead.
There's one
Yeah.
more, like the ShamWow guy says. Wait, there's more. Hey, we're gonna do something special next week. We're gonna have an open. We're gonna post a link on the CAC board, and we're going to post a link on our board next Tuesday, 3 o'clock. We're gonna bring Mike Carrillo, and I'm bringing him here so he has a freaking mic. Okay, he is going to
Now,
go
hey,
through.
hold on. Just for those that don't know, Mike Carrillo is your foreman, one of your foremen. And how much money has he upsold this year?
Oh, Mike is at $237,000, almost $250,000 in upselling.
Okay, so this is probably a good call to be on.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's
All
an
right.
animal, and he put together this whole concept of a dream book that we leave with customers. And when I told him, Mike, hey, I'll tell you the story next week, but I don't know if it's been working. He goes, wait. And as of like August, he had sold $65,000 worth of work from leaving this book with existing customers and let them dream about other things they could do to their pond or in their yard. So we're going to bring him on. He's going to go through all the things that he's done. We're going to flip through the pages of the book, and he's going to talk to you about how he goes out there and sells $250,000 worth of stuff. And just so you know, my other guy, Andrew, he sold $101,000 worth of stuff, so not too shabby either. So there's like $350,000 in sales by these guys, and this is their project. He came up with it. I shelled out the $1,500 to do it. It cost me $2,000 with Mike, and there we go. So we're going to have this one on next Tuesday, and I'm just going to put a little teaser out there. I was talking to Gene Marlowe today, and he thought it might be a good idea if we put together, and we will, after Thanksgiving, and you'll get notice on this, we're going to put together a webinar solely directed at foremen and your crew, okay? And it's going to be heavily presented with my guys about through their eyes, okay, how they can. So I want you to pull them off the field for one day, get them in, put them in front of a computer, and let's have a conversation with them, because it's not luck that Mike and Andrew go out and sell $350,000. There's a specific business model that I follow and things that I do that they buy into that give them ownership mentality. And I'm going to have them share with your guys and girls why they have that ownership mentality and why your people should have it also. So that's going to happen most likely the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, but Tom and I will let you know about that. Cool?
Good stuff. Awesome stuff. So again, next session of the Contractor Sales Academy starts in February. We will be sending information out to everybody that was on this call. And if you'd like to be a part of the next go around, there'll be some simple steps to participate in that. Also, guys, go into Facebook. We have a public group called the Contractor Sales Academy. So if you want to stay in touch with some of the things we're doing and the content we put up there, that'll help you guys sell more and save time and all that good stuff, go to the Contractor Sales Academy Facebook page. It's a public page, and we will help you out any way we can with that. So with that, thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. We'll see you next Tuesday.